All right, community out there, greetings. R. Christian Minson here, talking to you today about spiritual hygiene. We'll get started in just a moment, but if you are joining on the recording, I encourage you to skip to about 5 minutes in. That's where the content will begin. Otherwise, we're just waiting for the first 5 minutes for people to show up, for folks to say hi, so we're just doing a little bit of greeting. I will say today I'm coming to you from the sunroom, checking out a great place to be. Look at Priscilla is on. Hey Priscilla, I haven't talked to you in a while. Welcome. And say hi, use your thumbs and likes. A few people have joined on already, and just kind of getting comfortable. Just we'll let you know my birthday was yesterday, and so I had a what we call a virtual birthday party. That was kind of fun. First use of Zoom and using it in a casual setting. It was kind of fun. I thank all the people who showed up for that. Priscilla is saying, hi, Christian. I was just thinking about you yesterday. Oh, you were? That's because it was my birthday yesterday. So hopefully you thought about me and got me a present, right? Good to see you again. Thank you. Alicia, hello. Good to see you on too. A few people that I haven't talked to in a long time. Good to see you folks on. We're just in the process of getting prepared to do the Facebook Live. Today, my weekly Facebook Live, bringing you wisdom garnered from my many years as a holistic healer, breathwork trainer, monk of 10 years. And so there's a bit of stuff that I have to offer. And of course, then at the end, we always bring about the guitar and have a little sing-along song to sing, and so that's for all those who stay till the end. Deborah, hello, and thank you for the happy birthday wish. Kevin Peterson, all right, we're getting some. Jim McCarty, hello. I love the names that I'm seeing up here, so welcome. We're just waiting. It's about 2.5 minutes in, another 2.5 minutes to welcome people in before we get started. Let's get those numbers up. People are showing up. Get practice using your thumbs and likes and all that kind of stuff. That's always helpful. If you hear something that you like, give me a thumbs up. If you hear something you don't like, and give me a meanie face. Who's this? Christopher Stevens, hello. Good to see you on. If you want to tell me where you're from, type in that. Of course, if you have any questions along the way, please feel free to ask them. Jennifer, Renee, hello, and Lisa Van Ness, hey, happy belated. Thank you, appreciate it. Talking about my birthday, which was just yesterday, so I am now a year older. Who wants to know how? If you want to know how old I am, give me some thumbs up and some likes and all that kind of stuff. Birthday man, yes indeed, that's me. So we've got about 1 minute left. I'm just gonna wait 1 more minute to check in. I haven't gotten a lot of thumbs up and likes, so I guess I won't tell you how old I am. But otherwise, I'm older. Though in this past, I'd say in this past 3 years or so, I have felt younger than I have in many, many years. I think just getting on a better health regime and just kind of put all those things together. And it's perhaps dovetails into the topic we're speaking on today, spiritual hygiene. So welcome. A few more people on, and 20 seconds left to see if we can break last week's record. Come on in. The water's fine. A few new comments. Let's see what they're saying. Rose Encinas joined. Hey, Robin O'Quinn joined. Hello, my auntie from Texas. Christopher Jaguru, thank you. Deborah, Pine, Colorado. Just a hop, skip, and jump for me in Littleton. Good. We're gonna have to visit each other once we get going. All right, top of the hour. Welcome everybody. I'm gonna get going. This is Facebook Live Breathwork Edition. Your host here, R. Christian Minson. I am Transformational Breath Facilitator, Senior Trainer with the Transformational Breath Foundation for the last 13 years. Former Breathwork Director at Rhythmia Life Advancement Center in Guanacaste, Costa Rica. I'm a award-winning speaker, best-selling author, and an internet coach. Basically, did I mention that I was a former monk? I was a monk for 10 years of my life, and that has shaped pretty much how I view the world. And that has to play in today with our topic, spiritual hygiene, where we are looking at keeping ourselves energetically clean. And so before we begin, let's see. Hello from Lisa Rose. Hello. A lot of talk about hygiene these days, with the virus going around, and who knows what's truth and what's not being fed to us these days. But it's important to maintain a sense of hygiene, and this is a good time to ramp up our efforts or become more aware of something that perhaps we weren't aware of before. But this, the hygiene that's going on today with the virus is really physical hygiene. And this is part of the story, but we need to understand the root of some of our issues. And that's really, it begins with spirit. It begins with our true nature. And welcome to those just joining on. So when we keep spiritual hygiene, it tends to bring about a sense of peace, a sense of joy, a sense of well-being, understanding and compassion. And a byproduct too is a discipline, a sense of self-reliance, and and ultimately a sense of well-being and assurance that all will be okay. And I'd say that these, above all, are qualities that are being called for in this day and age. I would say in every day, in every age, but particularly now, we are being tested. We're being tried. Our resilience, our mental capacities, our emotional capacities are all being pushed a little bit. And this is the good news, once again, if we understand what we're trying to do. And I'd say the difference between this period of time being a productive and happy one and it being very bleak and cold and hard to get through is this topic of spiritual hygiene. That if you can approach life from a spiritually hygienic point of view, then you have a lot better chance of really feeling better in your life. Sorry, we got the dog barking back there, and I did try to change the environment today. I'm in the sunroom, and this it's a beautiful room where I pretty much can see the whole outdoors. We got a great park in the background, people walking by, and that, of course, is why the dog gets excited. Let's just see here, more people joining on. Welcome. Happy Friday, and to you too, Chad. And thanks for joining the virtual birthday party yesterday. Hi, Dina, and Natalie, and Nezrin. So, all right, so we understand why this is important, and really has everything to do with how we're going to move through this experience in a positive manner. And I'd say how we're going to move through any experience. But once again, right now we've got the big test on our shoulders. So what is spiritual hygiene? First, we need to recognize that I think everything comes from the perspective that we are spirit beings having a physical experience rather than the other way around. Physical beings having temporary spiritual experiences. So I think I first heard this from Deepak Chopra. I don't know if he's the one that originated that idea, but he definitely is a proponent of it, and I know others are, and of course myself. But we are first spirit. We are first these energetic beings, and then we're condensed into the physical body, and so our physical capacities are part of the equation, but in a lot of ways they're residual parts. They're not the core part of us, and I'm a big proponent of go to the source, go to the root to solve our issues. And the root usually is something to do with our spiritual nature. Again, this is spiritual hygiene. So as spirit, you are a higher self. You are part of God, if you will, part of the universal flow of energy, part of the oneness of love, if you will. You're not the ego. The ego, again, is a component of who you are. It's a facet of your makeup, but it's not who you truly are. As spirit, you are awareness, your intuition, your creativity, your connection and flow. So all these things are part and parcel of who you actually are. Oftentimes we consider these things like adjectives, like he's intuitive, or he's creative, or he's connected. But they're truly nouns in the sense of, you could say, proper nouns. They are you. I am intuition. I am creativity itself. Tuning in, hey, Matthew Basil. Hey, that's a blast from high school past. Padmini, I think, tried to join the virtual birthday party yesterday. I don't know, did you get a chance to hear it all? Because we never got to see you come on. And David McAtee, hey, good to see you. All right, so this is what you are. Now, we are body, heart, mind, and soul as well. So as spirit or soul, we condense more energetically into the mental and emotional realm, and then condense ultimately into the physical realm. So all that's part of the parcel, but again, we're looking at the whole and going to the source. All right. So Padmini says no, she didn't get to. So we'll have to connect after then. All right. So hygiene then keeps these things that, deals with the things that dirty our body, heart, mind, and soul. Sort of dirty it, get us off track. And so what dirties the soul? I'd say the number one thing that dirties our soul, our spirit, is ignorance of who and what you really are. That first idea that we are spirit beings, not actually just physical beings. And just think how that alone shifts your the consciousness of what's going on. Even if you're to catch a virus and die, if you're thinking that you're only a physical being, well, that's pretty much the end of the road. That's that's about the worst thing that can happen, and that's going to shape the way that you look at the day-to-day goings-ons. But if you can see that you're a soul, who you really are as this spirit being, that the body may pass through health, it may pass through illness, it may pass altogether, but the body then, again, is not who you are. You still transcend that body and move forward. So ignorance is the first thing. The second is the ego being in control. So the ego is, I've done Facebook Lives in the past where I've talked about the soul versus the ego, and maybe I'll do that one again in the future. But in a nutshell, I talk about you being a company, let's say, and the the soul is the CEO, but the ego is the manager. And as the manager, when you're disconnected from your soul, it's like the CEO is on sabbatical. So the manager walks up to the CEO's office and says, "Hey, there's nobody there. I want to be the CEO." But the ego acts from a very limited way of operating. The ego is basically trying to keep you safe, and to keep you safe, it's a very binary process for the ego. What's known is safe. What's unknown is unsafe. So ego is always trying to keep you in the known. So this is why anytime we push ourselves out of our try to grow, we're pushed out of our comfort zone, and we feel a little bit at odds. We want to stay back. Our ego is telling us, no, stay in the known zone. The soul, the CEO, the real CEO, is always looking for the future, pushing you into new territories and such. And so, the ego trying to play the CEO is not, it usually doesn't end well, because it's trying to keep things the way they are, while really you're striving to grow. So the ego being in control is another thing that dirties up our soul or our spirit. Fear and worry are huge components to spiritual unhygiene or uncleanliness, and that they taint, can really cause a downward spiral very quickly. And of course, stress is another thing in that category of things that dirty the soul. So this is, so when we're talking about spiritual hygiene, and we're talking about how to keep our soul clean, how to eliminate some of these, or manage, if we can't eliminate, these issues in our lives. That means saying, I love that analogy. I think that was the one of the soul is the CEO and the ego is the manager. I like it too. I think it works very well. All right, so how do we keep spiritual hygiene? And so once again, spiritual hygiene takes into consideration the whole package. So that again is our body, mind, and soul. The physical level, the mental, emotional level, and the spiritual levels of our beings. So I'm going to address all those. And of course, once again, here we are in hello, Georgina. We are talking about hygiene a lot these days. And so the main thing is awareness. I've been a pretty hygienic person on a physical level all my life, but this pandemic has allowed us to get a deeper understanding of what that really is, to redouble our efforts. And so, some of the basic things, whether they said, wash your hands, be aware first. Be aware. Here you are as an autonomous being, right? You are connected but not connected to the world in a way until you touch something. As soon as you touch something, whatever is on that now is on you, right? So the first understanding of that hygiene is to understand how we transmit things. That, contact with a person, contact with an object, contact with an environment can change your hygiene. So we want to be first acutely aware of what we're coming in contact with, and to spend time, to really pare down in this critical time what we come in contact with. Of course, then when you do come in contact with something, the best way to remedy that situation, I've touched a foreign table. Now, whatever's on that table is on me. Go and wash that off of you. So here we go. We're back to our autonomous selves again. Wearing that mask is a great thing, I think, because they tell you not to touch your face, because, all right, so you got something potentially on your hands. No, that in and of itself isn't going to cause you any concern unless it gets into your internal system. And how does that happen? usually through openings, eyes, ears, nose, mouth. So when we touch our face, we are inviting things to enter into our system that then can wreak havoc. So I find it's almost impossible not to touch your face unless I have a mask on. When I do have a mask on, it's very easy because that mask, I'm going up, I'm realizing, I want to touch my face behind the mask, but the mask is sort of this barrier that helps me remember that. So this is just a reminder of some of the basic things that they're telling us out there for our physical hygiene, but also it's important to get out in nature. Nature is going to align your physical body and in alignment with emotion and spirit. Go barefoot if you can. Barefoot in the grass. If you can get out into fresh air, they're telling you not to get out, but don't get out in the crowded supermarkets and things like that as little as you can. But to be, we have this great big open field back here. I see a person out there now. If I went out there, we could stand 100 feet apart and we'd be okay. So nature is our nature, and the more we can communicate with it, the more we bring down we bring ourselves into a baseline of calm. Nature has this vibration of calm, cool collectedness, and by being in touch with nature, we just naturally get some of that energy. Let's see what people are saying here. Deborah, Krishna, are you describing a typical day working in an elementary school? Wash, wash, wash. That's it. So this was in our vernacular. This was in our life prior to this craziness. Now it's just caused everybody to become a little more aware. Again, one of the best things about this is we're just becoming more aware of things that maybe we've been a little lax on in the past. I was upset with the thought of how more hygienic can I be, but it is possible with the thought process. Thanks for making that point. Good. I'm glad that this helped in that regard. And hello, Anne Von Gall and Birgit and Andre and Deborah and Peter. A lot of good names I've seen from the past here. All right, so nature, fresh air, getting around trees and plants. These are all things that are gonna help bring you into. It's almost like magic. If you stay out there long enough, you just find a sense of calm, a sense of well-being. And this is what we're really talking about here: how to keep ourselves, out of ignorance, out of ego, out of fear and worry and stress, and into the soul nature, which once again is awareness, intuition, creativity, connection, flow, in body, mind, heart, and soul. So, another thing that's going to keep us aligned, keep us in good hygiene is actually a clean diet, a clean, healthy diet, meaning more foods straight from the source, things that you can pull out of the ground, things that are not denatured, things that aren't packaged as much as possible, things that aren't processed basically as much as possible. So whole foods, antioxidants, these kind of things. This is part of our physical hygiene, but plays the deeper hygiene on the physical level that leads to our spiritual hygiene. So on the emotional mental level, one of the phrases that my spiritual master Paramahansa Yogananda used to use is plain living and high thinking. Plain living and high thinking. Basically, that means plain living is living simply. Simplify. Start to, a lot of the things that we worry about is because, especially with the economy and stuff like that, is because we're living such complex lives. We've overextended ourselves. We've bought so many things, put so many things on credit, and a lot of things that we don't need. Look at the last thing you bought and see how long it's been sitting in the corner over there, and hasn't been used, and yet you're still paying bills on it. So to simplify, one of the great things to do with all the abundant time that many of us have right now, especially if you're not working, is that you can purge, meaning go through your belongings, give away. I've been doing this consistently, trying to find all the junk that's been sitting around that just kind of weighs on your consciousness in some way, shape, or form, and get rid of it. Give it away to Goodwill, to AmVets, to Salvation Army. Now, of course, some of these places you may have to store it in a place until these things open up again. That's what we're finding here. So we've got a whole lot of stuff in the corner ready to go as soon as it goes. And some of it's garbage. So if it's truly garbage, throw it out with the trash. Luke Sellers is on. Hello, brother from another mother, and in Canada there too, right? All right, so where was I? Simplifying, purging, give away. The practice, next is the practice of present moment awareness. So the only place that we actually exist is in this present moment. And part of our hygiene, our spiritual hygiene, is to stay present, to be here, so that we can actually experience the cleansing nature of spirit. How do we know when we're not present? There's a simple way to understand that. Basically, if we're not present, we're either in the future or we're in the past. We're dwelling in the future, dwelling in the past. Both take us out of the present, so we're not able to understand that clearly. So, how do we know when we're in the future? We're generally going to be stressed and worried about what's to come, what to do, and I'd say a lot of people are there right now. We're stressed about the future because we got bills to pay, things going on, and so that's taking you out of present moment awareness. It's good to think about these things, but it's not good to dwell there because you can't do anything about it while you're in future thinking. You can only do something about it once you're in present moment consciousness. And then if you're thinking in the past, generally you're going to be feeling sense of guilt, of shame, of regret, really. These are what you should have done, what you could have done, what you shouldn't have done, what opportunities passed you by. So if you find yourself feeling either worried or stressed, you can know that you're not in the present moment, you're in the future. If you feel yourself guilt or regret or shame, you're not in the present moment, you're in the past. And so this can help you bring yourself to that present moment. How can we stay in the present? One great way is a gratitude practice. And gratitude, to practice feeling gratitude, because gratitude is an indication, as Michael Brown of the Presence Process says, of how present we are to life. The more grateful we are, the more we are actually present. So it's both. Gratitude can be an indication. If you find yourself feeling grateful, it's an indication that you're in the present moment. Gratitude can also be a practice to bring yourself into the present moment. So I do this morning and evening. I try it now, my introspection chart, which I'll show you again in a minute. On that chart, I've got, do I wake up with gratitude? I list at least 3 things I can be grateful for right away. Before I go to bed at night, I again think about at least 3 things I can be grateful for. Why are these times important? Because we're about to sleep every night. Is this period where we do return to spirit. We return to our nature of wholeness and oneness. For most of us, that's an unconscious process. And we have other processes like meditation and such, which are helping us to bring about that spiritual nature or that understanding in a conscious way. But by as you drift off to sleep, being grateful, you are setting the stage for the quality of that connection with spirit. And as you wake up again, before you get all antsy about what you've got to do in the day and who's got to be served and this and that, you spend some time in gratitude. You're drawing all that communion that's happened over the course of the night in your sleep and your connection with spirit. You're bringing that into your day and helping then keep your day in balance, in the same kind of peaceful resonance that you regenerated in your sleep. Welcome more people. Bad meeting, New York. No one. Oh wait, what are you saying here? One is considered a loser if one does not have a home mortgage in New York. Yeah, right. Yeah, well, I'm a loser in New York, but I'm definitely feeling very much at peace right now because I don't have that extra worry. All right. So, and then let's see. Ignorance. So we talked about ignorance of who we really are being one of the things. So how to counter that is study and introspection. So study things that usually when I talk about study, it's spiritual study, things that are helping you to maintain a consciousness of who you truly are. You know, look at things that describe who you are as a spirit. And I of course strongly recommend the works of Paramahansa Yogananda. But any spiritual master, we're coming upon Easter. You know, Jesus Christ was a important spiritual master in our historical flow here. A lot of what he said's been dismembered and discombobulated, and so you try to get to his truth, but he speaks a lot of truth. So to study, say, the scriptures, study spiritual texts, get your mind off of know what's going to happen here to what's truly the field we're playing on, so we're not so plussed by the things going on. And then introspection. Introspection is your chance to really look at your behavior each day. And that, once again, bringing up my introspection chart, I've talked about this in the past Facebook Lives because we're talking about, in the last one I did, 5 habits of highly spiritual people, or habits for quarantine living. I titled it instead in this day and age. But you can see here that it gives me a lot of things I'm trying to just stay on top of. Am I meditating every day? Am I studying? Am I introspecting? Am I, and some habits I try to form. And you could see I color code it. So where you see green is where I've been doing good. Where you see red, not so good. Yellow is sort of kind of wasn't not done, but wasn't fully done. So that is a simple visual way to get a read on am I sticking with the things that I know, if I do day in and day out, are going to cultivate this sense of who I am as a soul. Cultivate my intuition, cultivate my creativity, my connection and flow. Cultivate, for the ultimate end game of peace, joy, sense of well-being, and that sense of personal resilience, which we're all needing while we're going through the process. All right, let's see what Matthew's saying. All our knowledge begins with the senses, proceeds then to understanding, and then ends with reason. There's nothing higher than reason. I would say there is actually something higher than reason. That's intuition. Intuition is I'd say, our abilities beyond reason. Reason is still limited by the faculty of the mind, and we aren't the mind. We are not the body. We're not the mind. We are the soul. And again, this is what we're striving for. The body and mind are part of the parcel, so we want to keep that mind clean. And that again, study, the knowledge and understanding is part of helping us stay in this hygienic state. So thanks for sharing that. Hi, Stephanie Angel. Uh, all right, and then I'd say one of the biggest things we can do to stay mentally and emotionally in good hygiene is to periodically take a worry fast. Worry fast. So to not worry, to basically determine, to make it a determination that you are not going to think worrisome thoughts. How do we do this? It does take a vigilance. Have you ever done a physical fast where you haven't eaten for a day or longer? There's food all around and you could always go grab it, but you keep yourself present to the fact that you're in this disciplined phase right now. So worry fast is taking yourself away from, directly addressing what dirties the soul, this fear and worry. And where does this come from? I'd say an easy way to start your worry fast is to turn off the news or put it on very little. It's good. Things are changing all the time. All right, well, holy cow, I'm getting a lot of hearts there. Is that Jamie Lynn? So the news is created to make you worry. It's fear sells. Fear rivets people to the TV, and I even know this. If I start watching the news, it just has a way of sucking you in, and that's whether you're understanding of this or not. So how do you counter that? Just turn it off altogether, or play it for 15 minutes, or find the news that gives you as close to real news as possible without all the fluff and the fear added in. So worry fast, though, and that can be for a day, for a number of days, for a week, but it's a hugely effective way of keeping you centered, keeping you back in spiritual hygiene, back in a clean, intuitive, creative, connected flow. Matthew, intuition concepts constitute the elements of all our knowledge, so that neither concepts without an intuition in some way corresponding to them, nor intuition without concepts can yield knowledge. Yeah, well, I'd say if I understand that right, or may be simply said the way Paramahansa Yogananda said it, that intuition is the balance of perfect feeling and perfect reason. So we do have to employ these faculties of reason, but then we also employ, reason without feeling is dry and cold. Feeling without reason it is frenetic and can get out of control. So it's really a balance of the two. Thanks for that. Jamie Lynn, yes, seeing you brought back. Seeing you brought back to the IS ceremony when you played beautiful music for us. Thank you, Jamie Lynn. And there will be music at the end of this. And Autumn says, you like this idea. What idea are you talking about? Which one was that? And Padme is talking to Deborah, so I'll let that just go. All right, so then we get into the spiritual dimension, which is really, so we talked about the physical body, the emotional and mental body, which still are parts of this whole physical thing, so they can't be denied, but we need to recognize they're in service to our spirit. And the biggest way that we can keep spiritual hygiene, especially in this idea of remembering who we are, of eliminating this ignorance of not knowing who we truly are, is, I'd say, meditation or some form of communion. Some form of separating yourself from, and this works, and I don't know how you might see this, Matthew, is because right now we get our knowledge through our senses, but our intuition comes not through senses, but through an inner guidance. So in these practices of meditation and communion, it's about turning off our relationship with the outside world so that we can focus on our inner relationship, the inside world. And again, both exist. I'm not saying to do this exclusively and pretend that you don't live in an outside world. But this helps you to, as you remove yourself daily, as St. Paul said in the Bible somewhere, I die daily. Basically, he was referring to techniques that allowed him to separate from his physical reality. So he was essentially dead to the world on a daily basis. So the more you can separate, the more you can understand again, anchor in who you truly are. So when you return to the world, you don't get sucked in and then just become a cog in the machine, but you it's like you're in the Matrix, but now you know how to manipulate the Matrix, right? You saw that movie. Meditation, doing that regularly, and that once again is one of those things that's on the introspection chart here. And surrender and trust. Surrender. You heard my Facebook Live a couple weeks ago. I say if there's anything you can take away from that, and take away from this experience, and maybe take away from life, is that probably the primary lesson we're learning here is surrender. How to surrender, how to just let go and know that, we pretend that things are in our control because, we got a job and we can pay that mortgage and this and that. And we think that now because these little cogs are in place that we are in control, but nothing is ultimately in our control. And we can see that here now. As much as we had everything in place, and somebody out there, I'm sure, had every little thing in place. And now this completely changed the game. It was out of our control because life is not in our control, not in our little ego control. Once again, when we get connected to the soul self, who we truly are, then we recognize that we're not in control, but something greater is in control for our higher good. And we don't have to worry about being in control because, it's like having you've got to drive the car, or having the Formula One, race winner drive your car. They're going to do a much better job. So you let them drive, and you don't worry about being in control in that way. So hey, Aisha, Paula, and Christy Vicante, good to see you both on here. So, surrender and trust, part of that is an easy practice is to smile and laugh a lot. And this is, it may seem simplistic, may seem remedial, but I tell you, especially when I'm meditating, I tend to get into the serious phase. And by just turning up the sides of your mouth, and if you can't do it, if you can't do it yourself, make yourself do it. Or actually, I think it was Aisha who just joined who gave me this trick that if you actually bite a pencil, it puts your mouth into the smile shape. And why is this significant? Because think about this. Our physiology is connected to our emotional states. And think about when you smile, what emotion is coming through. Without a hitch, it's happiness, right? Happiness and joy. You can't smile when you're sad. You don't go, and you're crying but smiling. So every time we smile, every time your mouth goes into this position, it's setting off things in your brain that are saying happiness and joy. So once again, happiness creates a smile, but a smile can induce happiness. And so by just remembering to smile, even just for short periods of time, is going to help you in surrendering, trusting, and being more spiritually hygienic. You gonna do any breathwork classes? Yeah, in fact, I'm thinking of doing that Wednesday here. I was gonna announce at the end. Christy, and then Linda, surrender is so powerful, but can be tough to do. Yes, our ego wants to control. I taught me in the ceremony, it carries over to life. Yep. Exactly. It carries over, and surrender's not as hard to do, but like we said, working with these different elements, and remind you the 5 habits of highly spiritual people. Meditating, studying, introspecting, physical exercise to keep your body healthy and cool, and service to get yourself out of your own spinning mind. You put your attention on somebody else, not only are you helping yourself in some greater capacity, but it's actually helping you to relax. And then miracle consciousness. Miracle consciousness is a concept we use in the breath work, transformational breath work, and basically this is an idea of really seeing life for what it is, seeing all as divine love. Like if we can. So let's reframe. Here we are in this thing. Our lives have been clamped down. Our freedoms have been curtailed. We're sort of stuck at home and all this. This really sucks, doesn't it? Or we can say, what's the miracle consciousness view of things? Miracle consciousness say that seeing this as all divine and all for a greater purpose of love. So, and a lot of people I've seen posting all over it, where people are hearing the birds singing for the first time, the water's clearing up, the air is clearing up, people are slowing down, noticing, getting back to some very, very basic, simple pleasures rather than so frenetic. People are connecting with each other. We may not be able to physically embrace and such, but like I'm doing, I'm connecting with somebody on a video call at least once a day, just to use this time in this sense of miracle consciousness. Everything, all of this. So when I'm saying miracle consciousness in terms of why this virus is here and such, is it's giving us a chance to shift and change, to look at ourselves from a different way, which we just haven't, because life's just been too busy and we've been caught up in the mechanism and the wheel. And so now that wheel has stopped, we got nothing else to do but start to look around and see what's up. So, and what I like to say, essentially my last point in all of this is how to maintain spiritual hygiene, breath work. Breath work, of course, I am a breath worker, trainer and facilitator for years and years, at least 13 years now. And, I love the tool because it addresses all these dimensions we just went through, the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual dimensions. Physically, breathwork is helping clear toxins from your body. So it's helping you to bring oxygen into your body. Oxygen, our number one energy source. Every cell is vitalized by more oxygen. So you're essentially boosting your health. And, a boosted health, boosted immune system is vital for, helping you stay resilient in these times of virus. Breath work on the mental emotional level is really all these things that are going on in us. And, again, I'm not trying to make it sound Pollyanna or that we can't have a bad day and all that. But breathwork's really there to help us process these feelings that normally our fears or anxieties about what's going on are coming from something that we've already experienced in the past, a time when we've lost control, a time when we've been in fear and such. And now when a new situation comes up, and again, this is a big one, it's causing you to feel a sense of loss of control, a sense of fear, a sense of unknown, all this, it's bringing back up these old tapes. And so you go into reaction mode. You react. You act again like you did previously at some time in the past. And usually you didn't act so well in the past. So it brings up all these feelings. Breathwork helps process those feelings, helps you actually manage them in a healthy way, allowing you to experience them, but but in the process of releasing them. And then uh, gives you a chance to replace those feelings with feelings of peace and well-being. So, and then of course, breath work as far as the whole spiritual dimension, it is one of those, if you can't meditate, it's a great communion type of exercise. But for those who have experienced this, understand that working with the breath contains prana. Prana is the fundamental unit of life force energy, which is what I'd say a particle of spirit, a particle of God. So the more prana we're processing, the more we're attuning ourselves pranically or energetically to be in alignment in our consciousness with our higher self, which once again, we've been talking about who we are as spirit. We are that higher self, that God self, that awareness. Awareness starts to come through intuitively, intuition. Our creativity starts to flow, our connection to ourselves, to others, to our higher source, and we start to feel in the flow. And these are all the things I just defined in the beginning as who we truly are as spirit. So it's bringing all of that to the forefront. Let's just see what anybody's saying. Hi, Christian, Jamie Lynn, hey, Cheryl, Rhonda, Mother Earth is healing. We can do the same, exactly. And we are part of the earth, so we have to. Lemma, yes, hi, brother, much love, doing my breath work like life depends on it. Beautiful. You, and good, I need to practice and relearn. Can you do step by step so we can relearn? Yeah, all right. Good. All right. So that brings me to breath work. Breath work basically, I just did a Zoom yesterday for my birthday, a virtual birthday party, and on Zoom then, getting used to working with it and all that, I decided that next Wednesday, I would use it for something, and the best thing I can think of is a virtual breath session. So look for that. Look out for that in the coming days, an event going up, and try to invite all you people who showed up here. But this will be a virtual breath session to put into practice everything that I said. And remember, above all, I think breath work gives us the whole package: body, mind, heart, and soul. So before we get into some music, then let me just contemplate, what if you started employing these concepts of spiritual hygiene regularly? How much more in command of your life would you feel? Imagine your experience being a whole lot calmer, feeling much more gratitude and peace around what's going on. How much more assured and courageous you would be in these times. What would your daily experience look like if these were all a part of it? And I dare say that's something that we can all practice more and have a better handle on. So with that, moving into music, let me just see if anybody is saying, Carolyn, nice to see you too. Cheryl, that would be awesome, and I'll get the time zone correct. Yeah. Right on, Cheryl. Good. Oh. And nice to see you yesterday too. Linda Thomas, virtual breath session would be amazing. Autumn saying, oh yay, excited. Good. Well, right on. So that sounds like it hit home. Again, look for that on my wall as an invitation, as an event. I will post it. I'll try to invite a lot of people, and that's going to happen on Wednesday, basically, Wednesday evening. Time to be determined. All right, so at times like these, it takes a little bit of creativity and fun to balance ourselves out. So I thought I would play the song Times Like These. Let's see how this goes. All right, thanks for joining in. And so it goes, and it always goes on and 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 on it goes. And there's always been laughing, crying, birth and dying, boys and girls with hearts that take and give and break, and heal and grow and recreate, praise and nurture, then hurt from time to times like these, times like those. What would be, and so it goes. And there's always stop and go, fast and slow, action, reaction, sticks and stones, broken bones, those for peace, those for war. God bless these ones, not those ones, but these ones, the times like these, times like those. What would be, and so it goes. But it always goes on and 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 on it goes. Hey, 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 hey. Somehow I know it won't be the same. Somehow I know it'll never be the same. That's right, it'll never be the same. It'll only be better. Wow, I love all those hearts and loves, thumbs ups and all that going on. I felt like people screaming at a concert, a sort of silent scream. So thank you everyone for tuning in this week. R. Christian Minson, Breath Flow Wellness, breathflow.com. Check out my website, The Flow of the Breath, breathflow.com. Friend me on Facebook, like my Facebook business page, Inhale Life, Breath Flow, R. Christian Minson. Check me out on YouTube. The replay of this will be up on YouTube as well, R. Christian Minson. So I look forward to continuing the relationship, and especially look out for the breathwork practice we'll be doing on Wednesday night. Until then, namaste. I'll see you next time, and thanks for all the love.